Many are saying that the label shutdown is extremely imminent. Many are talking about believing that JK and Winter from aespa were seen together at the gym. We also have JK's solo tour being talked about and people freaking out about that and whether that's going to happen or not. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Disci. Let's get into it. There's been a lot of protests recently about JK's solo tour or lack of a solo tour. People have been bringing up specific moments in the past in which JK had allegedly talked about wanting to go solo, saying for years that's what his lifetime goal was going to be and that he would love to do it. A lot of people have been upset because instead of a solo tour, it seems JK is now being forced into the BTS reunion, which he shouldn't have to do if he doesn't want to. Now, my honest question here is why on earth do people assume that he is doing something that he doesn't want to do now? He might want to do a solo tour. In fact, it seems like he's been talking about it for a while, but that doesn't mean that necessarily he wants to do something in this moment in time. If he was so serious and wanted to do it now, don't you think that he would be able to do it? I mean, every single member has a chance to do it. Jin did a little bit of it. J-Hope had a chance and took it. So if he wanted to do it as much as they did, why isn't he doing it? Do you honestly believe that the label would stop him because that is a moneymaker for them? Why on earth would they not want money? You have some people saying that the label is super greedy and all they care about is money, but then at the same time, you have these people saying that the label is insisting on not having a solo tour for JK. Explain how that would make any sense for someone who is super money hungry. People tend to forget that we don't know these people in real life. Entrepreneurs and people who tend to live really fast lives have different changing opinions every single day. In fact, most of us would probably be exhausted with how often their minds change their desires or whatever flip-flops on the day-to-day. And that goes with anyone that, as I said, that lives a fast-paced life. This is not a bad thing. I think when people hear flip-flop, they tend to think it's a bad thing. I don't think that at all. I think it's a good thing to have desires, to want to experience everything in life and do a lot of different things, but also that their thoughts are not stagnant. There are people who are saying that they are going to go every single day and attack the label until the label decides to finally let JK have this solo tour, and they're asking for this right now, which I think is very interesting in the middle of a BTS reunion potentially being planned. This tells me that they do not care about the BTS reunion. They don't care about what happens with the rest of the members, but they almost effectively want the group to disband. And that would be the only way that JK would then get a solo tour right now, or at least get one very soon now, because the reunion is expected to be in the middle of 2025. So if they were to plan something at this moment in time, it would then take longer. But if JK wanted to do it a long time ago, he should have been planning for it and he should be doing it right now. That's what I'm trying to say. When I read these posts, because I wake up every single day to people being obsessed with this cannot be an act of love, but it has to be more for a selfish reason. Because you cannot tell me that you're trying to support someone or that you care that much that you're willing to take a solo tour or lack of solo tour this personally, that you just wake up in the morning and dream about protesting and cursing out the label for not doing this, that you've lost all actual rational sense, that you cannot think of anything else but this, and then that's it. When you feel that way, that's not because you're supporting or loving someone. That's an obsession, and as I said, likely for a selfish reason. There's a lot of craziness right now. The fact that the labels are operating might be a mystery to me because in my mind, they potentially want to take a break or shut down because things are getting a little bit crazy right now. I'm not saying that they should or that I want them to, but maybe they want to. I don't know. If you remember an announcement that happened not too long ago by several news sites, it talked about how HYBE was under some investigation, specifically Bang. Just a reminder, if you forgot, he was recently believed to have tricked or misled shareholders allegedly. So at the time, it was believed that shareholders had a strong belief that the label was never going public or wasn't going to go public for quite some time. So the shareholders wanted to take their money and put it somewhere else. So they ended up selling their stocks. And what happened was around that time that was happening, it was allegedly believed the label was already starting their process of going public. So the shareholders ended up losing a lot of their money that they likely would have gained if it wasn't for the alleged misleading that was going on. Of course, all of this stuff that I'm saying is alleged because nothing has been proven yet, and it's still going through the legal process right now. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting. The authorities took this information and decided to run it through the legal system to get it fully investigated on, and it had escalated beyond just claims. It went through the investigation stage, and now it's believed to be going to move past that stage. It is now going into the conviction stage. So essentially, I guess it'll be looked at by a judge or whoever, and they ultimately decide, is this person guilty? Do they have to go to trial? Whatever. So it is believed the authorities have pretty good evidence, or at least strong evidence, to believe that their claims did happen, allegedly. Otherwise, it would not have moved past this stage. This is my understanding of the Korean system. Of course, I don't live in Korea, so everything I'm saying is alleged and not 100% definitive proof. You'll have to look into that yourself if you are more interested in that. Now, I have spoken about this before, but I'll remind you here again, if this ends up being proven true, what they're accusing Bang of doing or accusing the label of doing, we are talking about very severe punishment. So it is believed that the fine that they could pay could be enough to bankrupt or cause the company to shut down, allegedly. I don't even know for sure, but even more than that, it could be something as much as going to jail for 5 years or whatever it is. Now, a lot of people don't like Bang. And the thing is, I don't like their reasoning for not liking him, because a lot of it is just how the community feels. They look at a picture of him and a streamer getting dinner, and the streamer dresses more provocatively, and they're like, I don't like how this picture makes me feel. And thus, they don't like him. But it's not based on anything real, and that's a problem for me. The actuality of it was that he wasn't going to lunch or whatever with this girl to sleep with her, right? So a lot of it is just based on what the community feels. And so the community saying that they want Bang to go to jail is definitely not good. Him going to jail would have a domino effect on the company, and that would then result in not only a lot of artists in the company to leave, but would result in severe effects such as where would BTS go next? And there would be a pause on all activities, and there would be a huge effect on the promotion that is planned. Because even if BTS decides to go ahead and move to a different label, the new label has to then agree that the old label's promotion plan is good. They might have a different plan, and that plan might not be as good as what HYBE is or has put in place. Moving to a new label is also troublesome in its own right, such as the labels might not necessarily believe in BTS because they have been gone for so long, and there's just more pressing artists maybe at that time. They're going to focus their attention onto other artists instead of BTS. For example, if BTS happens to join the same label as Taylor Swift, and they're both planning a comeback, who do you think is going to take precedence? I think a lot of people are hoping that BTS might, and they might believe that BTS would, but the bottom line is we're talking about America, and they're going to prioritize their own American artists. I don't think, is she American? I don't know. Over any Korean artist any day. And I will say this from my experience, I've seen a lot of American record labels actually not care about making money. They care more about working with someone that they believe is good or fits their aesthetic that could potentially make less money. But then they believe that that person might ultimately make more money. I don't know, it's weird. They care more about maybe just doing that than just solely money, right? The American industry is even more shallow than the Korean one. The difference is they try to hide it in the American one, right? The Korean one doesn't really try to hide it. They know that they can't get their artists to get plastic surgery and all that stuff because that would get them in trouble. But if it was socially acceptable, you best believe they would ask their stars to get it. That's my opinion. But with all the craziness going on, that's not the only thing that's happening. Recently, a lot of people believe that JK and Winter were recently seen together at the gym and doing several different activities together. There was a post that alleged that there was even more similarities between Winter and JK now than there were before, and talked about how there were a lot more alleged evidence that proves that they are in a relationship together now more than ever. One of them was this belief that the specific in-ears that both of them use at concerts were very similar or had sprinkles of the same color. So JK wore golden in-ears for his solo stuff, obviously. And then it was believed that Winter wore a black with golden flakes that she had in her ears during her promotions, with a lot of people believing the look of this was her way of, I guess, having JK in her ear. I don't even know what exactly this is. This is extremely annoying to me because I don't think half of these people who make these assumptions have ever actually been in a relationship themselves, ever. You're telling me if this grown woman was in a relationship with someone, she could not bear, oh my God, that would be too much for her, to not have the same in-ears and the same color as JK. Like, just the thought of her in-ears not even matching JK is just too much for her to bear. She's just so in love with him that they have to match at all times. And of course, the same thing goes with the recent evidence of them seen wearing the same hat together, which is also crazy, right? Because the brand makes hats. You know the brand is popular for that. Some people believe that both Winter and JK were seen at the same gym together, or at the gym, and people were saying that, look, they both like to work out together, or just in general. This is even more wild to me because it's not like they both wouldn't like working out, because we know that idols and celebrities work out all the time, right? Like, they have to maintain a specific physique all the time. So, like, yeah, they could like working out. That doesn't mean that they're together, they're just working out. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos, linked down below. Thank you to this lovely commenter here. Love you, bye.